So hey guys, what's up? Well, welcome to my channel. This is actually my first vlog, so I thought I would just start by introducing myself. I'm a 24-year-old student from Milan, and as you might have noticed by now, I've decided to do these videos in English, mainly because English is the more widely known language, and well, even though it's not my first language, I thought it would be better for these videos and for my possible or hypothetical audience nonetheless. And well, right now, as you probably can see, if you can see, and I've got all my viewing angles right, I'm currently riding a Ducati Monster 796. I bought this bike back this summer after I crashed my first bike, which was a Honda Hornet from 2006, still the carburetor model. And well, it was a pretty awesome bike in my opinion. It wasn't obviously one of the best bikes, crappy frame, not so good engine, crappy suspensions, but it was my first bike, so I kind of got a soft spot for it. Second thing I wanted to say is sorry for my English. I mean, it's not my first language, I'm still working on it. I've been speaking English for the last 15 years, I suppose. I went to an English school, but I'm still working on my spoken English. I can read and write pretty well, but obviously not being my first language, my spoken English is still a bit rusty. And anyway, just wanted to introduce myself and talk about bikes. So I'm currently riding this Monster 796. It's pretty much stock. I bought it, as I said before, this summer. It only had, oh, by the way, lane splitting is totally tolerated in my country. I bought it this summer. It only had, I think, 5,600 kilometers. It was basically brand new. It's from 2011, by the way. It was basically brand new, and I thought it was a pretty solid bike. I wanted to try the 2-cylinder Ducati engine. I was like just about on my way to buy a 1000cc Yamaha FZ1, so I almost decided to stick to the 4-cylinder engine. But here in Italy we actually have quite a big step in tax between the 1000cc engine and the 800cc engine, which this bike has. So in the end I decided to opt for the 800cc engine, since I didn't have a lot of money to waste, and I kind of get 90% of the fun with, let's say, half the cost with this 800cc bike. I wanted to talk about the two bikes I've had right now. I've driven quite a few bikes in these last years, but I own this, as you may remember, my Honda Hornet from 2006, and I'm now owning this Ducati Monster. It's quite stock, but it's still a pretty strong bike, I think. I've got quite an extensive renovation plan for this bike. I'm gonna change, well, as soon as I've changed the clutch, possibly, I'm gonna change the exhaust system, suspensions, ECU, air filter, possibly the battery as well, maybe the candles, are they called? Not sure. The thing that spark in the engine, yeah, I think it's probably the spark plugs. Oh, there it is. So this is one of the problems I've got with spoken English, that not every term comes to mind immediately, but I hope that's not too much of a problem. I was saying candles because in Italian the term for spark plugs is actually candele, so that's why I was thinking of candles. As I was saying, this is a pretty strong bike, but it's got some major problems on the suspensions, which are really not that responsive and are kind of too soft at some points and too stiff at others. So I'm definitely gonna change those, but it's a quite expensive job, so oh no, let's go straight. Change my mind. Oh fuck this clutch. And god, these roads are crap. These roads are really crap. We've got these kind of stones in some parts of the city, and we've got potholes in others. Actually, truth to be told, they have done some. Most of the roads have been reworked, but some are still in pretty poor shape. Well, anyway, I crashed my Honda Hornet last summer. I was at Castelletto di Branduzzo, which is a track near Pavia, here in Italy, and I had trusted a tire dealer near my house and mounted the Bridgestone BT16 Pro, which are road tires and not so good road tires as it matters, and they got absolutely ripped on the track. They go far too warm to work properly, so basically it was like having soap on my bike rather than track tires. And hey, I've got the camera, yeah. And so basically I was exiting a left-hander, pretty slow one as it matters, and I basically just lost grip exiting the corner. I opened the throttle just a bit, lost my rear end and high-sided out of the corner. I actually did quite of a flip. I was pretty proud of myself. I hope there was like a photographer on the track, but there wasn't, unluckily. And I high-sided the bike. I did a somersault in the air, landed head first and then back. I mean, the helmet worked pretty well. I didn't have any kind of concussion or anything. I was just a bit dizzy for a few seconds after I got up, but other than that I was pretty much okay. I landed on my back, got up, got away, and that was that, I'd say. The bike was almost totaled. I'm saying almost because it was in pretty bad shape, but it could have been salvaged. It just wasn't worth it for me. I already had in plan to change the bike, so really I would have had to spend a lot more money than the bike was actually worth to get it back into perfect conditions. Still, the problem was that the frame could have been bent, and if you bend the frame, there's really not much point in trying to fix it, especially if you're planning on using the bike on the track. It just doesn't work properly as it should. So in the end I decided to just change the bike basically, and I sold the old bike as it was to a guy who only needed it for commute purposes, just to go to work and back, and he bought it quite cheap, as I might add. Had it fixed, and I know it's in good shape now. I mean, the frame was put back into shape, the tank was changed the rear panels, they changed the I think they possibly swapped back the original exhaust, and oops, stay in your lane, dude. And the bike works right now. I've seen it after they put it back together. It was quite a sad moment, I might say. I mean, it was my first bike. I did like 13,000 kilometers on it, so it was quite sad to see it go, but I mean, I'm not regretting the choice. I've got a really decent bike. Truth to be told, I prefer the engine sound from the 4-cylinder rather than the Ducati, especially the stock kind of sound, which is not that good. But still, I'm not regretting anything, and I'm pretty happy of the choice I made. And anyway, that's the story of my first bike. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time, guys. Cheers.